Hi guys, so I am out on another ride. I'm here in Leighton Buzzard and going to do a trail I've never done before, which goes from Leighton Buzzard up to Milton Keynes, follows the canal. I think it's part of the Great Union Canal, goes all the way up through the country. We're going to do about 12 miles, I think it is, 12 miles there, 12 miles back, so about 24 miles. Stop for a drink or something en route and see what it's like. So I've just got to ride through a bit of road before I get onto the canal, and we'll pick it up in a minute. So I'm going to use my 360 camera along here just because it's a bit easier and I want to concentrate on where I'm going because I've not done this before, and it's right next to a river. Not going any silly speeds today. It's hot as hell in the UK, but day off and nice to go out for a little brief ride. Morning, thank you. Just coming past you on the left, mate. Thank you. So again, it's a shared cycle and walking route and things like that, so just need to be a bit more respectful along these sort of places. And yeah, somewhere I've not done, so I was looking around for a trail and I was going to do the Phoenix Trail, which is in Oxford. I don't really have the time. This is a bit closer, so this is only about 40 minutes from where I am, and it was a 12-mile route. Got a nice 4 hours of free parking in Leighton Buzzard, so seemed like a decent run, and it's all the way along the river with all these lovely barge boats and stuff. I'm hoping there might be a pub along the way. We'll see how we go. I don't usually do these type of routes just because they're next to the river. I'm always a bit cautious, but we'll give it a go. So from what I understand, this is part of the Grand Union Canal, but I could be wrong. It stretches all the way across the country. Excuse me, guys. Thank you. All right. Morning. Thank you. Watching tree cutters on the opposite side of the canal in somebody's house. They are brave when they do that sort of stuff. Just coming slowly past you on the left, mate. Don't worry. Thank you, mate. Yeah, there's a lot of, as you can imagine, walkers or people, you know, just enjoying a bit of sunshine. It's 27 today, so it is a bit hot as balls. Well, I don't know what I'm going to come across, so we'll see as we go. Morning, gents.
Yeah.
You can see longboat going through the lock back there. I'm not going to look the other way because again it's a bit of an uneven surface along some of this as well, so I'm just taking it easy. Like I said, no massive rush today, but I'm also, I don't know this route, so okay. So yeah, maybe we'll just have a little chat along the way. So there's been a few things going on in the EUC world. Just coming past you, mate. Thanks very much, appreciate it. Morning. And things that, some look good, some not so good. So let's start with the not so good. Let's get that out of the way. Let's just throw my 5 pence into the ring, as it were. So there's various people online on YouTube And it wasn't in response to any of, like, you know, Coogee Rolls or Johnny Go Room and things like that. I got the utmost respect for both of those guys. It's just my own spin of how I see the EUC world, I suppose. So for a long time, and probably still now, we are really considered niche. If you go across the world, there's not a lot of us. There's more of, like, you know, scooters and things like that that people instantly recognise as, you know, maybe dangerous or things like that. But we've started seeing across the world various things pop up from a legality point of view and policing point of view. Ooh, nice looking pub. Globe Inn, that might be a stop on the way back. Around the legality of these, you know, EUCs and stuff like that. I'm gonna go. Oh, can I go up and over? I don't particularly want to go under that thing. Let's have a look. Oh, look. Yeah, we do have to go under that. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm going to wheel it under that, and the reason why, again, is caution of things coming around. So yeah, some of the legality, so especially in America, not so much in the UK, although obviously that's still an issue, but in America they've started putting out things, and police seem to be more aware of what these look like, especially, and I think some of that's come from, well, it's like the P6 and people riding them as they do. And other things, I think just generally they're getting a bit more aware of wheels over other stuff. Morning. So yeah, and some of it's hype, right? We have it in the UK. Police have a big kind of operation during the summer of especially like illegal modified e-bikes and scooters and things like that, and then they post loads of stuff on that were previous posts from years and years ago as well, so the people that kind of know that there's a lot of the same stuff being thrown out because they need to be seen to be doing stuff. But largely, my experience, and again not the whole experience of the UK, we've largely been left alone, and whilst they're not legal and it's a grey area just because, like, the laws are from God knows when ago and they haven't caught up with everything, they leave us alone. And in some cases they don't leave people alone. I don't know the cases of when they don't, you know, is it that they're doing something? I know Lee up north, he got stopped, and that was a random one, to be honest. He got stopped underneath a bridge on a trail. It's the most random place. I would imagine the police were there for something else. Two of them looked like they were okay, or, you know, interested. The other guy got his book out when it's more of a job's worth. So I think depending on which one you get right in the UK, my experience. But in other countries it seems to be a bit more clamping down. I know this place in Florida that's, you know, they've stopped. Oh, that was it's very train tracky along here, which is a bit worrying. So there's, you know, I'm not just picking Florida, right? There's other countries and other parts of the world, right? They're clamping down on electric, I suppose, personal electric transport, ouch, in general. So I think that as a whole is a bit concerning, in that they're not going the other way, which is embracing it, putting a framework around it. You know, France done quite well in terms of they got rid of the rental stuff because they were a pain and they were causing problems. And I know there's stats that government and various other bodies release about the amount of accidents on, like, e-scooters every year and stuff like that. If you release the same stats, the same sort of period of time for bicycles, cars, God knows anything else, it'll be triple, quadruple that. So take those stats with a pinch of salt, because their bodies are there purely to suppress that type of, you know, new innovation, new transport, and that's what these are. Cheap, easy, reliable stuff that, you know, could help a lot of people, and certainly in terms of, you know, money and spending and you know, cost of living and stuff like that that's going on at the moment. Anyway, back to the point. I think part of the problem that we've got at the moment is the focus. We didn't have so much of a focus on certainly these and maybe other vehicles, e-scooters and that, because papers and everything else seem to demonise those type of things. But for us, it's largely been kept away from that as well, and it's, you know, it's doing that kind of trying to keep it away from like people that are, you know, completely against anything like this, right? But with a framework and with the right legislation, I think, you know, it could work. Now, do I want that? Maybe not, because it may well restrict it too much. That's what I want to do. But at the same time, it could allow us a bit more freedom. Now, I only go fast when I can or need to, or, you know, in certain places. I'm not a speed demon and all the rest of it. I try and be respectful for road laws and things like that. And I think as long as you're doing that, and you'll seem to be doing that, and you're being polite to the general public, as you see me this morning do, but also, you know, when we're out and doing rides, not everyone's going to like you, right? But if you put your best foot forward, then I think it goes a long way and quashes a lot of those things. Even if they don't want you there, there's a lot of things that kind of stop a lot of the noise and the nonsense. So I think that's a worry. That's a bit of a bad thing. I think it's potentially going the wrong way in our favour. Now, I don't think there's necessarily going to be a ban. No. Morning. Or afternoon, whatever it is. But I don't think it's going to be made easy for us. And there's obviously, you get the elements that are riding illegal modified e-bikes or people that are riding dangerously isn't helping. The other thing, and the other kind of bit that I've seen recently on Instagram and various other things, and again, I'm not going to point those things out, it's not my place, but there seems to be more accidents, more violence, more you know, not the community kind of we want to see around this sport or this hobby. Some altercations on skate parks, some altercations, traffic violations or traffic sort of problems, whatever you want to call them, and just generally kind of, you know, putting these in, again, a bad light, which just doesn't do well, especially when you're going through areas that have got people, pedestrians, cars, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot tighter than I was hoping, but there's a lot of things that kind of go against the community as a whole when one or two individuals act out of turn. Oh shit, that's a big part. I want to avoid that. So all I'm saying is that the EUC community, in my opinion, is in danger if we don't take care of it and don't look after it and don't look after each other. Johnny Go Rumours said a couple of really good things on his videos recently, which is, you know, call the people out. Maybe don't ride with those particular people if they're, you know, causing those problems and bringing bad attention to, you know, to the rest of the group or the rest of the people. Oh, I don't want roots on this type of trail. I don't know, it's not straightforward because of friends and things like that, but maybe that's the way. But you just don't want bad things, bad karma, and oh, that's better with a fence line along it. You know, when you're doing these sort of things, right? It's I'm going to spend most of my time ducking, which for me, as a short guy, that doesn't usually happen. But I think you're going to spend most of the time kind of like, you know, you just got to try and look out for each other and also the community as a whole. You're representing a community, so every time you go out for a ride, like I am, you're representing not just yourself, you're representing everyone that rides this or something remotely like this. Just because you ride an EUC doesn't mean to say that they don't look at that and go, well, the only thing I kind of know that's like that is a scooter, and I hate those because a paper has told me that they're evil. And again, it's another one of those things that it's not particularly bad, it's just the person that's riding it. It's like anything, right? Put a bad driver in a car, it's not the car's fault, it's the driver's fault. And same with scooters or EUCs and things like that, right? If someone on there is not being respectful, then it's their fault. And the first thing that people in the papers and stuff demonise is the vehicle. It's never the person, and that really annoys me because it's the person that's doing it, you know. So just something to sort of, you know, bear in mind, I think. It's enough of the negative stuff anyway, you know, all that sort of stuff. I think, however, if there's a brighter side of all this and things like that, the ones that are trying to ride respectfully and sort of, you know, in the right way, I think to a degree, like I said, we're left alone. Hopefully that continues, and I hope it doesn't further crack down, because, you know, there's already thoughts for a lot of people, including myself, whether we just give this up. Ooh. Thank you, appreciate it. Ooh. Thank you very much. Oh, you've got to look out for you've got to look out for fishing. Morning. You've got to look out for fishing along here, so we're not just bloody hell. I didn't realise there was going to be an assault course of of fishing. Thank you. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people fishing along here. I didn't realise there was going to be so many people, which it does make sense, but like, you know, when you have to do an assault course and watch out for their rods and wait for them to actually, you know, put them out a little bit, or keep nets and things like that. Second world problems. So yeah, so positive thing of these though is that they are really good fun. They are a really good form of transport, and you know, it's just something that everyone, I think, should embrace. I don't know where I go from here, or where I've come through for the wrong part. I assume it carries on that way. Maybe. There's multiple locks. Down this way. Yeah, see where's next. Yeah. Shit. Private mooring. Yeah. It does look like there's a better path on the other side, but I don't know if I can get that side or not. Next to another mooring. I don't know if I want to. Again, let's not take any chances. Private mooring, no public access. Does that mean I can't go that way? I don't know whether that means that I can't go that way. It's private mooring, or whether that's just because of boats. It's not very clear. That it doesn't say that the path still goes this way, but so we might get blocked. We might have to go back and yeah, it's a gate. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we have to somehow get over. So wasn't that way. So wasn't very clear, to be honest, but it's a private mooring, and you go on that little pathway, and it's basically a private land. There is a path on the other side, so I think I'm going to have to go back to where the bridge was, go over. Sorry, I'm out of breath. And then get down the other side. Fortunately, there's a pub on that side as well. Finding lots of pubs. So let's get back on and we'll get across and then hopefully carry on, because I don't want to carry this across a across a canal lock, so I think we have to go back to where I was, because it's not that way. It must be on that road bridge and then you come over and come back down, so we'll go that way. Definitely not that way. Yeah, let's go the other way. Let's go the other way. Not that way. Yeah, all talking today, you lucky or unlucky people. Right, let me close this off and then I'll get back on the path and we'll come back. So, further way around that particular lock, you had to kind of go, I suppose not through the pub, but around the alongside the pub. Maybe again, it's like, you can understand why people have longboats. They just, I remember my aunt and uncle having a longboat and built them a long time ago, before they owned a pub. Yeah, lots of pubs along canals. So if in the UK, I don't know if they still do them. They used to do like canal boat, like rentals, and people used to rent them and literally stop at pubs on the way. Didn't end well, because people that didn't know how to ride boats, me included, a bit too fast, yeah, let's slow this down, ended up in the water because drunk and in charge of a boat. And these are not, from what I remember, easy boats to manage. They're big, they're heavy, long, and especially if you have to go through locks and stuff like that, and you're relying on multiple people getting through locks, of getting out, getting the boat to a certain mooring, undo the lock, fill the water up, lower the boat down, unlock it and stuff. It's a couple of people job usually, I would imagine. Great to see, but and interesting, but yeah, not if you're not experienced. Oh, tape along there, that's never good. Afternoon. Jesus Christ, I won't take it up any more of the path. Okay, now. Afternoon. Oh, fucking hell. Fishermen are miserable. Come to the conclusion, if you're a fisherman, you're a bit miserable. And they just dump all their shit across the path. I don't give two fucks about anyone else using the, pardon my French, using the thing. I mean, it's a good little hobby, I suppose. Might be the look of, ooh. Watch out for random doggies as well. Ooh. Or doggies that are just don't like you. So, let's see where we need to go. Bletchley is 3 miles, which is, pretty much in Milton Keynes. Well, the outskirts of Milton Keynes anyway, which is kind of where I'm heading. And then we'll head back and annoy some more fishermen, I'm sure. Because there's only certain parts along here where you can fish, so I'll imagine there's, they all kind of group together. The trouble is they group together and then, I have to wait for the poles, which is fair enough, but then they spread all their stuff across the path. The people that live on the longboats and stuff like that, they've got dogs and stuff, so you just have to slow down, stop, walk, whatever it is. Again, it's all shared cycleways and things like that, and you just have to be mindful of that. but we'll see. I think we might go to Bletchley, see where we are in terms of Bletchley, and then we'll head back, stop at a pub, have a catch up. But let's keep chatting, see what else has been going on. Hopefully this bit will be less congested. Like I said, I think it's more the fishermen along here, which, you know, they're doing what they like, nice peaceful thing, and I'm not disturbing them. But the good news is I think there's only certain areas, and there's certain areas you can't fish on, so you won't get long stretches of this with fishermen on. You'll only get like a few spots and, you know, a gathering of people. Hopefully most of the time they're a bit respectful in terms of, you know, stuff on the paths and things. But if you're doing these sort of rides, which I don't very often, to be honest, I've done maybe one or two of these on my EUCs, just be mindful of that, you know, people live on these boats, right? This is their permanent home, which means you do have to be careful of not just the river and bushes, but also what people have outside. So the same way at your home you may have a balcony or a patio or a decking or something like that where you sit out on, or maybe even have a barbecue. These guys, this is their patio, decking, whatever you want to call it, right? So you do have to be mindful of that, is that you're riding or walking through their front door or through their front garden in some ways, even though it's public land and, you know, it's cycleways and stuff like that. If they're moored up here for a substantial amount of time, or they're, you know, this is their kind of permanent sort of mooring, then I don't know if you can still do that, whether you have to move on, but either way, be mindful of that things, dogs, animals, people might be, you know, on the trail as well. Afternoon. And be nice. It's quite nice being nice to everyone. Ooh, shit, that's a lot thinner along here. I don't know how much. There's going to be a point, I think, or maybe, where it's the risk, you know, risk versus reward. This is already getting smaller because it's getting more of the rural area, so less people possibly come this far along, which means they take care of the paths and the trail and the bushes and stuff a lot less perhaps, and visibility on where the bank ends and where the river starts is less and less. So bits like this aren't too bad, but it might be a point where I see something where it's not viable. So, but we're going to at least go as far as Bletchley. I'm trying to think. I know when I said go to go to like Milton Keynes, it was 12 miles, so you do go a bit further in, and I don't really want to go into central Milton Keynes, if I'm honest. It's quite PV friendly, I would say, as long as you're careful. I've ridden around there's all rental scooters and personal scooters and things like that. They tend to be quite a bit like Cambridge. I think they're tolerated, they know them, so, you know, it's not too bad. But again, it's school holidays over here in the UK as well, so it's going to be busy, and you need to be mindful of that. So try and keep away from those sort of areas, especially during the day. We did ride Cambridge last night, and that's always good. In the evenings it's quite quiet, especially in the summer holidays. All the college students, university students, they all go home for the summer or go on holiday or whatever, so the campuses are quite empty, and the you know, Cambridge is, whilst it's a busy city, it's not mega rammed and stuff, especially a Tuesday night when we went. So it's quite nice when it's like that. So you can ride around. A few, you know, obviously pedestrians that you have to look out for, and people coming out pubs, and, you know, the stuff that we all do, right? You just have to be mindful of that when you're riding those sort of places. So yeah, I feel like this has turned into a bit of a kind of public statement. We'll be mindful of your riding and be nice and do all this. It's not like I just kind of me babbling on about what I do and how I ride and things like that. And, you know, I think there's a time and place for high speeds and stuff. Jesus Christ, this is, I mean, it's getting more dicey than I'd like. And I wonder if there's maybe a country road on the way back. My back's going to be killing me by bending down this much as well, and I don't want a seated ride along here. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get to Bletchley without any dramas. We just take it steady and easy along some of these bits. Some of these bits are wider than others. Well, I think they're the bits where they've got moorings and things, so you know it's understandable it'd be like that. What else? Ouch! That was barbed wire. Well, not barbed wire, but that stuff. So like I said, see there, like, you know, someone sitting out on the deck chair, just enjoying their day. Just got to be mindful of, you know, that's what you're riding through. But yeah, I done a really good cycle track meet that was arranged by PV Connect a couple of weeks back. Really good, Redbridge, London. There's another one beginning of September, I believe. May well go along with that. I really enjoyed the last time, and managed to get back up to my lots of ducks as well, so you have to be mindful of ducks. Come on, out the way, ducky, don't want to squish you. Yeah, you know, I managed to get my 40-mile-an-hour speed on the track again, which I wanted to make sure. I'd done it before, I didn't want to, like, it to be a fluke. I actually done it the other night, Cambridge, on a private road, which was nice. Again, it's not one I hit very often, and for no reason. I intentionally do it and then dial it back. I think rarely go above 30, 35, depending on where we are. Obviously we stick to a lot of the road speed limits and things like that anyway. But that was good. That was a really good fun, and it was a good experience. You know, it's a different experience to everything else. Thank you, mate. Cheers. Yeah, I'm also wondering whether to get back into doing some car stuff again. For no particular reason, but I still do like the car stuff, but like it's not been my focus for the last year or so, just because I never really had an interest in it again. But I think because my Tesla Model Y that's on lease is due in March, so it's about 6 months now until I change the car, and I do want to buy a car this time, and that be either my last car or, you know, one of my last cars. But we'll see. I mean, I think I'll definitely do a video around maybe final thoughts on the Model Y. You know, I've had it for, it'd be 3.5 years now, so it'd be obviously 4 years by the time it goes back. Don't know where that went, whether that goes somewhere else. It's a bit more pathy along here, which is nice. So maybe we'll do a kind of a slow up, don't be silly. A look back. There does look like something else that side. I'm wondering if that's a better way to go rather than along here. So yeah, kind of a recap. This is what I think over 4 years of owning a model, or not owning, but leasing them. Ooh, Jesus, low hanging. A Model Y. Impressions. Ow, Jesus Christ! Oh, look at the swans with all their babies. Christ, that was right across my forehead. That fucking hurt. Yeah, just to sort of say, what do I think? Is it a good thing? That looks like a proper trail, that side. I need to get there, wherever there is. Well, there's a down route. Some of these, I get a feeling I've been along here on the other end, like the Milton Keynes end, or the Bletchley end. So I think I recognise a bit of that at least. So yeah, do that, and then obviously the picking of whatever I'm going to pick. And at the moment, I think it looks like foresty and stuff. I'm not going for another Tesla. It may well be an Audi of some kind, possibly a Nissan Area. That's stinging out. I don't like those. I don't like the side of the thing. Let's go have a look here. Waterhall Park seems familiar. This seems like the back end of Milton Keynes, and I think I've definitely been here before. Yes, I remember all this. I remember the stairs and the turns and stuff. Sure I do. I have to remember where I am though. Oh wow, look at this. This is nice. Oh, it's bumpy though, and I'm sitting down. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look at that. I'm gonna see what car. Yeah, so I ruled out the Polestar 2. I don't think it's quite the right car that I want, or even though I have drove that before. I don't know whether it's the car I want. The Audi looks good. I haven't driven one of those, so I need to drive and test drive one of those. And then the Nissan Area, I have not driven one of those. And what was the other one? There was another one I did see. Can't think what it was. Oh, that's achy. But yeah, there's 2 or 3 cars that I'm looking at, and they're all kind of under the £20,000 mark, which I think will suit my purchasing budget, because the idea is I want to save money on my lease, which is quite expensive. It was good at the time, but after 4 years I'm paying enough, and also I'm paying not to own it. And the fact is that new cars devalue really quickly, and EVs, there's so much good choice out there second hand and really good value, so I'm going to have a look at that. Well, so I think I'm going to stop in a minute, have some water. I'm going to check my Google Maps and see whereabouts we are, but I think we're in the right place, or at least on the outskirts of the right place. So I've also been testing this app in Tesla, I think it is, on iOS, called Wheel Life. Seems pretty good so far. I didn't reset the trip, unfortunately, so I think I don't know, unless it's tracked my ride. Oh, it has tracked my ride. So I've done 7.96 miles, which makes sense because it's about, and I'm just outside of Bletchley. So, yeah, you can see that, maybe. It says time 50 minutes for 8 miles, so that's not bad going, almost an hour. And it is where I thought it was, actually. This is the park that you can get out the back of Milton Keynes, and yeah, you can get out the back of Milton Keynes and basically get onto the Great Grand Union Canal, and then follow that all the way along or up. You know, the Grand Union Canal, I think, goes like almost the length of the country. It goes right the way up, like right up north and down south. How about wheels? Wheels, there's no real rush for me at the moment to buy another wheel. I still would like a P6, but there's a little bit of heat around the P6 at the moment in terms of visibility, like I said earlier, of, you know, how people ride and stuff. So I'm probably going to stay away from that for the time being. I won't be able to afford another wheel until next year at the earliest. I'm quite happy with my Nosfer Apex. I may well change the spring, because I think the spring is feeling a bit clunky. I do need to do a bit of maintenance on the shock, on the stators, whatever they call it, the bits of carbon down. So I need to do that, but again, I don't think it's particularly unmaintained. I don't think I've done it that long ago, so I think it might need that I need to change the spring. So just a little little play around with the DJI Neo 2 just while I'm at this little kind of quiet part of the park. Just, you know, see. Tracking's always really good on this, and it's quite good for these little casual sort of things, easy to stick in the backpack and not really take up too much room like the big sort of drones do, that are getting more and more, again, more of a pain to fly because they don't want you flying anywhere, especially lately with all the wars going on. So what I'm going to do is going to take a little further ride down here, see what's at the end of this bit. I kind of think I know, because like I said, I think I've been here before. And then we're going to head back. We'll stop at, I think we're going to stop at that Globe Inn pub, that's particularly nice to stop outside on the river, have a drink, maybe a chat, and then we'll wrap it up after that. But there's still some more riding footage, I think, to be had, and we'll see what's what. Make sure I've not forgotten anything. Yep, because just like me, I'll get all the way home and then go, my glasses. So this is a really nice park just outside of Bletchley. I'll find the sign for it, what it is, but really beautiful park to walk through. Lots of big trees and stuff like that. There's probably a sign that way. It's a pretty cool little bridge. But yeah, a lot of these routes, I do remember coming this way because I think we were looking at a route, Milton Keynes, out to near where I live, and we did find one. And this is obviously not the one, but it follows this path and through the park, follows the canal. But obviously I'm going to have to get back on the canal the other way to get back to the car. This part seems to go on for quite a bit, so I think it's quite a big part, this one. It's a beautiful place to ride though, and yeah, we're just going to have a little ride, and then we'll head back. Hopefully we'll go a bit slower again, like on the way back, because there were some tricky bits. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much. It's like just a big open part, which is nice, and looks like there's housing over that way. There's a part that kiddies park that way, so let's not go over there. I wonder if there's have a look over that bit, see whether there's a path that goes that way towards that housing bridge. As you can see, the UK is keep getting told, like the 5th heat wave. So everywhere is brown and burnt. A lot of the greenery's gone and dead, and there's wildfires various places, which is such a shame. I know, a lot of countries have got that, France and especially, and some of the Spain and things like that have all got it as well. So again, onto another housing estate, but a beautiful little kind of park in that. And this is on the outskirts of Bletchley, so I think you're not right in the middle of the town, and you've got a nice place to to sort of be along here as well. That'll probably be a good place to take the drone actually on the way back up here and that way. So maybe I'll ride down the end of this, take the drone up, and get it to follow me along there. This looks like it's relatively new. So it's got lovely smooth paths. But we're not going to go into the housing estate and annoy people, so we'll go here. I'll get the drone out and then we'll follow it. We'll get it to follow me back. So let's stop here, and then let's pop you down for a minute. Let's get my drone out. Just a nice little not doing anything majorly fast today, just something a bit nicer. You can still hear the drone, so it's not too loud, but it's loud enough that you can hear it for a follow me thing. And I think it's it's pretty stable as well from a software point of view. I always found the hover needed a bit more work, which I think it's probably got there now. But it needed some more work in terms of stability and not flying off, randomly. But this is really good. I mean, it's good DJI kind of quality. I know the US has banned DJI because of its Chinese roots, I think, which is just bloody madness. I know there's various things about China and stuff like that, but a lot of it is brewed in politicians' suspicious minds. Needs to be grounded in fact, in my opinion. Right, so we need to find a way to that big tree line, and then we'll follow that back along the canal, and then back to the Globe Inn pub, I think, for a drink, and then home. Yeah, so we go this way. See if it navigates this bit. Should do. Didn't hear a smack, which is always good. But it doesn't have much battery left, so if I hear it kind of hover and stop, then it's likely because it's run out of battery, and I just need to go and pick the poor little thing up. But they get about 15-20 minutes of flight time, depending on how much you use it and how fast. And I tend to do like little clips rather than long sort of things. A bit like the Insta360, apart from today has been cool. There we go. Yep, it's telling me it needs battery. So here we go. So we'll get it to land. Emergency. Yeah, it's on red, so it was emergency battery warning.
Well lit.
Back out of the park, so it's called Waterhall Park. Almost. Thanks. Yeah, Waterhall Park, just outside of Bletchley, or it is Bletchley, but just on the outskirts. Really nice part to ride through. Connects to Bletchley, which then connects to Milton Keynes. Loads of places to ride around here. May well come back to Milton Keynes perhaps and have an explore this way or whatever. Some nice little tree roots along here, which I didn't want to do going along the canal, but it's nice to explore those along here. Thank you. So you can have a few little hops along some of these, which is nice, little bonk. But yeah, didn't want to do that along the canal. A bit too sus along the canal, I think. So yeah, so we're gonna. There's the canal there, and then we came round this way. That goes up again to. I think it goes over the canal that bit, and then you go into Bletchley, or one part of Bletchley there. And then you can go back up here. I don't know if you can go along that way and get there, but I think there's two different ways on. So let's get back on the. I'm stinging nails. So yeah, we're back on the route of the canal. So we're going to head back now and avoid, I'm sure, countless people, dogs, fishermen, whoever else. Luckily, so far, not many other cyclists or walkers, which on a small path, especially some of the thinner parts, is a bit of a challenge sometimes. Especially because it seems my inability to actually just get on a bit more natural than I'd like. Still seems to be a problem. Ooh, that's a big stork, look at that. Or herring, I would think that is actually, rather than stork. hopefully got that on video. That takeoff was very graceful. Still going. That was cool. That was lucky. I think heron rather than stork. I don't think we have storks, but herons are kind of, you know, that long leg, long beak, doesn't deliver babies. What I'm probably gonna do is film little bits of this on the way back, because you've seen all this. Might do a bit more chatting depending on, you know, if we see something, but you've seen a lot of this already now, so we're just going to repeat going back the other way, and we'll catch up. If we don't catch up before, we'll catch up at the pub. See you in a minute. Oh yeah, that was very cool. So come to the conclusion, don't make eye contact or any contact with fishermen folk, especially along the rivers. They do not like people. They do not like anything that's not fishing, fish related, or stillness, quietness, especially when they're handling their pole. Read into that what you will. On the way back still, I think we've just gone over the 3-4 miles. I think we've probably got about 3 or so, or maybe 2 back to the Globe Inn. We'll stop and have a drink, a little catch up, just to chill for a bit, and then back to the car. So yeah, keep it here, a bit more to come. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Do all the like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. Membership pages there as well if you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee type stuff. All the links are in the description. There is a link for e-rides. They can only be used on non-sale items though, unfortunately. So wheels and things like that might, if it's not in the sale or got a sale marking on it, you should be able to get like 5% off. Anyway, back soon. So this is the pump house, which is quite cool. We're like serving where all the locks and stuff are. There's the, I assume, the old pump house over there, and then the lock there. Those that live outside the UK, you may, I don't know whether you see this in certain other countries, you see like canals and things like that, maybe not so much in like the States and things like that, but they higher and lower the water to allow boats to drop down to certain levels. So it's really clever. These look manual, and when I mean manual, you need to, one person or 2 people need to go up and physically move with their strength the gates, and then allow boats through and stuff like that. Whereas there are some of the more modern ones, I think they've started, I don't know, electrifying them or mechanicalising them, if that's a word. And yeah, so it just it's quite nice to see like these old sort of more traditional styles still that are still there. Right, let's go up, turn left, and I think we turn right back onto the trail again on the way back. Try not to get knocked over in the process. Well, I'll take some of it back. Not all fishermen are non-talkative. Stopped and talked to a very nice guy. He used to ride motorbikes, now down to 125. He still rides motorbikes, but he's down to a 125 and things like that. Coming up to 81. Had an appreciation of it. And yeah, it was nice talking to someone about this. It's always nice when you get a conversation going. Rather than, like, you know, hateful comments and you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. It's always nice to stop and talk. On with the ride. I did try and not to disturb anyone. I waited for one guy to get his to get his pole out of the way. There's so many innuendos on this ride today. Coming up to one of the final legs. It's interesting actually, like when you come past there, you've got like, because like we were saying earlier, there's lots of people with homes here, right? And obviously people have got kids, and you've got like little babies, like playpen things that are out on the other side of the bank, you know, under the shade and stuff like that, just so they can get outside with their mum, dad and stuff like that, or whoever. That's what I mean. You have to be very aware and very conscious of, you know, other people on this trail, and be respectful. I think if I remember rightly, we're probably on the last little leg of the trail back to main Leighton Buzzard where I parked, and coming up to, I think we're close to where the pub, the Globe Inn, I fancy trying. So what we'll do, we'll catch up at the pub next, and maybe a little summary of the ride, and you know, some thoughts. So total miles so far 15 miles, 2 hours, probably about a couple of miles back to the car park, and stopped at the Globe Inn for a drink. Cheers. Ride's pretty good, apart from a few narrow parts up towards Bletchley, and the wheel app, wheel life, which you can't see the telemetry because my wheel's off, but really good app so far. Good testing. Seems to have all the alarms and settings that something like EUC World would have. So that's helpful, because there's nothing really. Darkness spot is okay, but it's just not as good as EUC World. And EUC World doesn't seem to be doing an iOS app yet. But yeah, it's 27, 28 degrees, so it's melting. See what temperature is. 29. It's 29. It's ridiculously hot. So I need to get back to the car, cool off, have a shower, probably stink. But yeah, been a good ride, and I will catch you on the next ride. See you later.